today we are going to talk about privacy in the digital age. As we all know, technology has become a big part of our lives, and with that comes the challenge of protecting our personal information. I am Temi, and I'm going to be walking you through how privacy affects us, the law surrounding privacy, and how companies handle it, and the importance to cybersecurity. So let's start by defining what privacy is. So privacy is about keeping things personal. When people say I want some privacy, they're basically saying I don't want you to get into my business. Privacy is about freedom from observation, meaning you have the right to not be watched or monitored. Privacy is a right. For example, when you browse the internet, you expect that your activities, whatever you're doing on the internet, to be private unless you decide otherwise. It also means preventing disturbance. Privacy allows users to have the freedom to live their lives, without being disturbed or interfered with by others. Also, privacy involves the right to be free from unauthorized access, invasion, or encroachment into your personal space, information, or affairs. You know how it is that probably you're viewing something on your phone and somebody just, sneaks their neck around you trying to look at what, how creepy that feels. That's how privacy is. Now, privacy isn't just about something we feel, it is protected by laws. And over the years, countries around the world have introduced laws to safeguard our personal information. In 1998, the European Union Data Protection Directive establishes a framework for privacy across the European Union. And in 2018, it introduced the General Data Protection Regulation, which is implemented in the European Union. And in 2019, the United Nations declared that privacy is a basic human right, especially in today's digital world. This shows how important privacy has become. Also in 2000, the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the EU recognizes the right to privacy as a fundamental right. Also, we have the California Consumer Privacy Right, CCPA, and it's enacted providing new data privacy rights for California residents. We also have the data privacy law in Brazil. What are the challenges organizations, companies face when it comes to privacy? First, there's data collection dilemma. Companies need your data to give you better services, but they also have to follow strict privacy laws. For example, Facebook uses your data to recommend friends, but they also have to respect your privacy in doing that. Then there's also transparency and consent. You as a customer, you expect companies to tell you how they are using your data and to get your consent. I see that a lot these days with so many apps. For instance, maybe you just downloaded Instagram. They will ask you, do you want this app to track you? You can either say yes or no. Another challenge is balancing personalization and privacy. So companies want to personalize your experience. Like Netflix want to recommend shows that your personality fits or shows that you like. You might need how you operate on the app, how your activities on the app to be able to do that. But they have to be careful not to overstep into invading your privacy, because that could come with some serious fines depending on where you are. And as we go on this course, we look at, how strict some of these privacy laws can be. So there's also regulatory compliance. They need to follow laws, like the GDPR, that's the European Union privacy law. If your business or your company or your organization, the organization you're working for, they are doing business in the European Union, you need to follow the GDPR laws. It is very, very, very important. Also, customer trust and loyalty is also another challenge. Personal identifiable information is any data that can identify you. We have direct identifiers, indirect identifiers, sensitive PII, or pseudonymous data, and we'll be looking at that shortly. So this personal identifiable information is something that can point that, it is exactly this person. If you go on LinkedIn and you search some names, you see like 2 or 3 people, 4 people. In fact, sometimes you see up to 6 people bearing the same name in the same order. So what differentiates those people is the PII, personal identifiable information. We have direct identifiers like your name or passport number, things that clearly point to you. And we have indirect identifiers. This could be your phone number or email, which alone might not identify you, but when we combine it with other information, it could. And there's also sensitive PII, and that is data that if exposed can cause harm, like your medical records. And lastly, there's pseudonymous data, which means data that hides your identity but can be traced back if needed. For example, sometimes you sign up on a website and you don't want to use your you don't want to use your real name, and you just use some other name instead of your real name. So that's pseudonymous. But if the website wants to figure out who you are, they can still connect it with some other info at their disposal. Different countries handle privacy laws differently. In the United States, about 65% of personal data protection laws are met. That is lower compared to the European Union, which means 95% because of strict laws like the General Data Protection Regulations. If they ask in the exam that which law is the strictest, just know that it is the European Union laws. They are so big on privacy that even if you are doing business within their region, you have to adhere to these laws. Canada comes in at 80% and Australia at 72%. So the level of privacy protection you have depends on where you live and the laws in that region. In the European Union, for example, companies have to get clear consent from you before using your data, which is stricter than in the US. And that's what I'm saying, that even if you have, let's say that your organization decides, to expand their sphere of influence to the European Union, they need to adhere to the European Union privacy laws. Thank you very much and see you in my next video. Bye.